In the last episode, our small group of allies finally caught a break when an enigmatic message from a trusted source set us on a quest to uncover the hidden archives within the ancient Eldrid ruins. I've been searching for answers about my past and the technology that once powered Aethereia, and now, with Lyrien and Elara by my side, we were determined to see this journey through. The cryptic message had hinted at secrets that could change the course of our world. As I stood in the dimly lit hideout, I couldn't shake off the feeling that we were running out of time. The air was thick with anticipation, and the weight of our mission hung heavy on my shoulders. Lyrian's voice cut through my thoughts. "We need to move, Alex. We don't know how much time we have before they track us down." I nodded, my mind racing with the possibilities. "We have to find that hidden entrance to the Eldrid ruins. If Arkea's behind it, she's our best lead." Elara's eyes narrowed. "But can we trust her? What's her angle?" I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. "I don't know, but we have to try. We can't do this alone." The thought sent a shiver down my spine. We were in this together, for better or worse. As we gathered our gear, a sudden noise from outside made us freeze. "What was that?" I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. Lyrian's hand instinctively went to his blade. "Sounds like we're not alone." The sound grew louder, and I knew we had to act fast. We made a split-second decision to leave the hideout and make a run for it. As we emerged into the night, the world seemed to tilt on its axis. A massive structure loomed before us, the stronghold of Arkea. My breath caught in my throat. This was it, our chance to gain her trust and infiltrate the stronghold, but at what cost? With a deep breath, I led the charge into the unknown, the darkness swallowing us whole. The journey ahead would be treacherous, but I steeled myself for what was to come. Little did I know, our actions would set off a chain reaction that would change the course of Aethereia's history. We crept through the shadows, avoiding detection by the stronghold's guards. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. Every step felt like a gamble, but I pushed on, driven by a sense of purpose. As we approached the entrance, a figure emerged from the darkness. Arkea! Her piercing green eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a jolt of electricity run through my veins. "So, you're the one they've been talking about?" she said, her voice low and husky. I stood tall, trying to project confidence. "Alex, we've come to talk about the Eldrid ruins." A hint of a smile played on her lips. "I've been expecting you. But are you prepared to pay the price?" My heart skipped a beat. What did she mean? The silence hung between us, heavy with tension. Then, without warning, she turned and disappeared into the shadows. "Follow her," I urged Lyrien and Elara. We trailed behind Arkea, navigating the winding corridors of the stronghold. Where were we headed? The air grew thick with anticipation as we descended deeper into the heart of the fortress. A hidden door slid open, revealing a room filled with ancient artifacts. "Welcome to my collection," Arkea said, her eyes glinting with a hint of pride. I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was it, the moment of truth. But as I reached out to touch one of the relics, a voice boomed from the shadows, echoing off the walls. "Not so fast, Alex." My heart sank. Who was this? And what did they want? The figure stepped forward, a hooded figure wielding an ancient technology that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. My instincts screamed warning, but I stood my ground. "Who are you?" I demanded. The figure's gaze locked onto mine, and I felt a jolt of recognition. "Someone from your past," it said, its voice dripping with malice. The revelation sent a shockwave through my mind. What did this mean? The world seemed to tilt on its axis once more, and I stumbled backward, my vision blurring. Everything went black. Previously, I'd been caught off guard by the revelation that the hooded figure was someone from my past, and the world had seemed to tilt on its axis as my vision blurred and everything went black. The figure's words still lingered in my mind, refusing to be silenced. As I slowly regained consciousness, I was met with an unfamiliar ceiling and a throbbing pain in my head. Lyrien and Elara's worried faces hovered above me, their eyes filled with concern. As I tried to sit up, a wave of dizziness washed over me, forcing me to lie back down. What had happened? The last thing I remembered was the hooded figure's ominous words. I tried to recall the events leading up to that moment, but my memories seemed foggy. Arkea's face appeared beside Lyrien and Elara, her piercing green eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. "You're awake, Alex." "I see you're quite resilient," she said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry and scratchy. Arkea handed me a small pouch containing a flask of water and some medicinal herbs. "Drink this, it will help with the pain and clear your head," she said. As I sipped the liquid, memories began to resurface. The stronghold, the artifacts, and the hooded figure. I turned to Arkea, my mind racing with questions. Who is that person? What do they want from me? Arkea's expression turned serious, and she exchanged a glance with Lyrien and Elara. "That is a question for another time, Alex. For now, let's focus on getting you back on your feet. You have a long journey ahead of you, and we can't afford to have you lagging behind." With her help, I slowly sat up, taking in my surroundings. We were in a small, dimly lit chamber deep within the stronghold. The air was thick with the scent of old books and parchment. I spotted a large, leather-bound tome lying open on a nearby table filled with intricate diagrams and illustrations of ancient technology. Arkea noticed my interest and nodded. "That's one of our most prized possessions. The knowledge contained within those pages could change the course of Aethereia's history." As I gazed at the tome, a surge of determination coursed through my veins. I was here to uncover the secrets of the Eldrid ruins, and I wouldn't let anyone or anything stand in my way. With newfound resolve, I stood up, my legs shaking slightly. Arkea offered me a reassuring smile. "You'll get your strength back, Alex, but for now, let's focus on the task at hand." As we prepared to leave, I caught a glimpse of a group of skilled engineers, led by a brilliant and feisty woman named Zephyr, who had been secretly working with Arkea. They were huddled around a large, makeshift workbench, surrounded by scattered blueprints and tools. Zephyr's eyes lit up as she spotted me. "Ah, you're the one they've been talking about. I've heard a lot about your unconventional approach to problem solving." I smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie with these strangers. "Unconventional, huh? I think that's just a nice way of saying I'm a bit of a wild card." Zephyr chuckled. "Well, we could use a bit of that wild card magic around here. We've been trying to crack the code on the Eldrid ruins' security systems, but it's like trying to solve a puzzle blindfolded." I nodded, my mind already racing with possibilities. "I think I can help with that. Let's get to work." As we set out to infiltrate the Eldrid ruins, I couldn't shake off the feeling that we were walking into a trap. But with Arkea's guidance and Zephyr's expertise, I felt a sense of hope that we might just succeed where others had failed. The journey ahead would be treacherous, but I was ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. I had a newfound sense of purpose, and I was determined to see it through. As we navigated the winding corridors of the stronghold, I stumbled upon a hidden logbook belonging to one of Arkea's predecessors. The entries spoke of an ancient technology hidden deep within the ruins, one that could tip the balance of power in Aethereia. My heart skipped a beat as I realized the stakes. We weren't just searching for ancient artifacts, we were on a quest to change the course of history. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. I was in this now, and I wouldn't back down. Not when the fate of Aethereia hung in the balance. With a newfound sense of determination, I quickened my pace, Lyrien and Elara by my side. We were in this together, and together we would uncover the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. As we approached the entrance to the ruins, a massive stone structure loomed before us, its gates guarded by an elite squad of heavily armed warriors. Arkea's eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a jolt of electricity run through my veins. "It's time to put our plan into action," she said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. "Are you ready, Alex?" I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. This was it, our chance to infiltrate the Eldrid ruins and uncover the secrets within. With a deep breath, I led the charge forward, the darkness swallowing us whole. The journey ahead would be treacherous, but I was ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. As we breached the gates, a loud alarm blared through the air, and the sound of rushing footsteps echoed through the corridors. We were in. But as we ventured deeper into the ruins, I couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being herded toward a trap. The air was thick with anticipation, and the weight of our mission hung heavy on my shoulders. Suddenly, the walls began to shake, and the sound of rumbling stone filled the air. We were running out of time. "What's happening?" Elara shouted above the din. Arkea's eyes locked onto mine, a hint of concern etched on her face. "It seems we've triggered a security measure. We need to move now." With a surge of adrenaline, we sprinted through the corridors, dodging falling debris and leaping over chasms. The ruins seemed to be shifting and reforming around us, making it impossible to navigate. But I refused to give up. With Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, and Zephyr by my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. As we approached a massive stone door adorned with ancient symbols, I felt a sense of excitement and trepidation. This was it, the entrance to the hidden archives. With a deep breath, I reached out and touched the door, feeling a surge of energy course through my veins. The door creaked open, revealing a room filled with ancient artifacts and forbidden knowledge. I stepped forward, my heart pounding in my chest. This was the moment of truth. What secrets lay within these archives, and what would they mean for the future of Aethereia? As I gazed upon the ancient relics, I felt a sense of wonder and awe. We had done it. We had unlocked the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. But our celebration was short-lived. A loud explosion rocked the room, and the sound of alarms blared through the air. We had triggered another security measure, and this time we were not alone. A figure emerged from the shadows, a powerful foe wielding ancient technology. "You shouldn't have come here," it said, its voice dripping with malice. I stood tall, my heart pounding in my chest. We had come too far to turn back now. With a newfound sense of determination, I led the charge forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. The battle ahead would be fierce, but I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. I was no longer just a lost soul searching for answers. I was a hero, and I would fight to protect Aethereia. The fate of our world hung in the balance, and I was determined to tip the scales in our favor. With Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, Zephyr, and the engineers by my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. The journey ahead would be treacherous, but I was ready. I was Alex, and I would not back down. Previously, I had stood tall, ready to face the powerful foe, wielding ancient technology that had emerged from the shadows, and with a newfound sense of determination, I led the charge forward, prepared to defend my friends and uncover the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. The air was thick with tension as the figure's eyes locked onto mine, its malevolent presence washing over me like a cold wave. But just as the battle was about to begin, a sudden energy surge coursed through the room and everything went dark. As I regained consciousness, I found myself in a strange, dimly lit chamber deep within the ruins, surrounded by an eerie silence. The air was heavy with the scent of ozone and burning circuits. I was disoriented, but I quickly realized that I was no longer alone. Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, and Zephyr were scattered around the room, their bodies limp and still. Panic set in as I scrambled to my feet, searching for any sign of life. That's when I saw it, a faint glow emanating from a nearby console, casting an ethereal light on the darkened room. I stumbled toward it, my heart racing with every step. The console flickered to life, revealing a cryptic message etched across the screen. Project Elysium initiated. Containment breach imminent. Evacuation protocols failed. The words danced across the screen, taunting me with their ominous tone. A shiver ran down my spine as I realized the gravity of our situation. We had triggered something much larger than ourselves, something that threatened to engulf the entire ruins. I frantically scanned the room, searching for any clue that could lead me to my friends. That's when I saw it, a faint energy signature emanating from a nearby chamber. Without hesitation, I sprinted toward it, my heart pounding in my chest. As I burst through the door, I was met with a sight that made my blood run cold. Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, and Zephyr were being held in stasis pods, their bodies suspended in a state of suspended animation. A figure stood beside them, its back to me, shrouded in shadows. I felt a surge of adrenaline as I realized I had to act fast. "Who are you?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. The figure slowly turned to face me, its features illuminated by the faint glow of the stasis pods. I gasped as I recognized the face. It was one of the engineers, someone I had trusted. "I'm sorry, Alex," the engineer said, its voice laced with regret. "I had no choice. They promised me a chance to save Aethereia, to bring order to our world. But I realized now that I was blinded by my own desperation. I took a step forward, my mind racing with questions. What have you done? What is Project Elysium? The engineer's eyes locked onto mine, filled with a mix of sorrow and determination. Project Elysium is a last-ditch effort to preserve Aethereia's technology, to ensure its survival in a world on the brink of collapse. But it requires a catalyst, someone with the right DNA to unlock the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. As the engineer's words hung in the air, I realized the horrifying truth. I was the catalyst, and I had been manipulated from the very beginning. The hooded figure, Arkea, Zephyr, they had all been playing me, using me to unlock the secrets of the ruins. But I refused to give up. With a newfound sense of purpose, I reached out and touched the stasis pod, feeling a surge of energy course through my veins. The pods flickered to life, and my friends slowly began to stir. As they regained consciousness, I knew that we had to act fast. We had to stop Project Elysium and prevent a catastrophe from unfolding. The engineer, now an ally, joined us, and together we hatched a plan to infiltrate the heart of the ruins and shut down the project. With a deep breath, we set out on our perilous quest, navigating treacherous landscapes and avoiding deadly traps. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. As we approached the central hub of the ruins, I could feel the air thickening with anticipation. We were close. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I was determined to tip the scales in our favor. With Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, Zephyr, and the engineer by my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. The battle ahead would be fierce, but I was ready. I was Alex, and I would not back down. As we breached the central hub, a massive energy surge coursed through the air, and the sound of alarms blared through the corridors. We were in. The room was filled with ancient technology, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. I spotted the source of the energy, a massive crystal glowing with an intense light. It was the heart of Project Elysium. With a surge of adrenaline, we sprinted toward the crystal, determined to shut it down. But as we approached, a figure emerged from the shadows. The powerful foe from before, now more powerful than ever. "You fools," it sneered. "You think you can stop Project Elysium? It's too late. The process has been initiated, and nothing can stop it now." I stood tall, my heart pounding in my chest. We had come too far to turn back now. With a newfound sense of determination, I led the charge forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. The battle ahead would be fierce, but I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. I was no longer just a lost soul searching for answers. I was a hero, and I would fight to protect Aethereia. The fate of our world hung in the balance, and I was determined to tip the scales in our favor. With Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, Zephyr, and the engineer by my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. As we clashed with the foe, the outcome hung in the balance. But I refused to give up. With every ounce of strength I had, I fought forward, driven by a burning determination to save Aethereia. The battle raged on, the air thick with tension. But I knew that I wasn't alone. My friends, my allies, we were in this together, and together we would emerge victorious. In a final, desperate bid to turn the tide, I reached deep within myself, channeling every last ounce of energy and determination. The outcome hung in the balance, but I was ready. With a burst of adrenaline, I struck the final blow, shattering the crystal and disabling Project Elysium. The energy surge dissipated, and the alarms fell silent. As the dust settled, I stood victorious, my friends by my side. We had done it. We had saved Aethereia from the brink of disaster. But as we caught our breath, I knew that our journey was far from over. The secrets of the Eldrid ruins still lay before us, waiting to be uncovered. And I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with a newfound sense of purpose and a determination to protect our world. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but I was no longer alone. I had found my place in the world, and I had found my friends. Together, we would face whatever the future held, and we would emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. As we walked away from the ruins, I felt a sense of hope that I had never felt before. We had saved Aethereia, and we had found a new sense of purpose. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: we would face it together as heroes. Previously, I had stood victorious, having defeated the powerful foe and disabled Project Elysium, saving Aethereia from the brink of disaster, but the secrets of the Eldrid ruins still lay before us, waiting to be uncovered. As I gazed out at the ravaged landscape, I knew that our journey was far from over. The engineer, now an ally, approached me, its eyes filled with a mix of relief and concern. "Alex, we bought ourselves some time, but we can't stay here," it said, its voice laced with urgency. "The effects of Project Elysium's failure will be catastrophic. We need to find a way to stabilize the ruins and prevent a chain reaction that could destroy the entire realm." I nodded, my mind racing with the implications. "What's the plan?" I asked, my eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger. The engineer hesitated, its eyes darting to Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, and Zephyr, who were busy assessing the damage. "We need to access the central core," it said finally. "It's the only way to contain the damage and prevent a catastrophic collapse." I nodded, my determination renewed. "Let's do it," I said, leading the charge toward the central core. As we navigated the treacherous corridors, we stumbled upon a hidden chamber filled with ancient artifacts and relics. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and I could feel the weight of history bearing down upon me. Arkea, ever the enigma, stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with a mix of fascination and trepidation. "This is the heart of the Eldrid ruins," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The secrets of Aethereia's forgotten technology lie within our grasp." But as we began to explore the chamber, we were confronted by a shocking revelation. The ancient artifacts, once thought to be mere relics of a bygone era, were actually advanced technology capable of harnessing the very fabric of reality. Elara's eyes widened as she examined the devices, her mind racing with the implications. "These are quantum capacitors," she said, her voice filled with awe. "They're capable of storing and manipulating vast amounts of energy." Zephyr, ever the strategist, stepped forward, his eyes scanning the room for any sign of danger. "We need to be careful," he said, his voice low and urgent. "If these devices fall into the wrong hands, they could be used to destroy entire cities." As we continued to explore the chamber, we discovered a hidden log detailing the true purpose of the Eldrid ruins. The ancient civilization that built this place had been far more advanced than we had ever imagined, and their technology had the potential to change the course of history. But as we read on, we realized that we were not alone. A rival faction, one that had been thought to be long extinct, had been secretly manipulating events from behind the scenes. They were known as the Lyrien Brotherhood, and they would stop at nothing to claim the secrets of the Eldrid ruins for themselves. The log ended abruptly, leaving us with more questions than answers. But one thing was clear. We had to find a way to stop the Lyrien Brotherhood and prevent them from misusing the ancient technology. As we stood there, frozen in uncertainty, I felt a surge of determination course through my veins. We had come too far to turn back now. With Lyrien, Elara, Arkea, Zephyr, and the engineer by my side, I knew we could overcome any obstacle. Together, we set out on a perilous quest to stop the Lyrien Brotherhood and unlock the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. As we ventured deeper into the unknown, I caught a glimpse of a figure watching us from the shadows. A figure with piercing green eyes, who seemed to know more about us than they were letting on. The figure stepped forward, its features illuminated by the faint glow of the quantum capacitors. It was a woman, with long, flowing hair and a white dress that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. "Welcome, Alex," she said, her voice husky and confident. "I've been waiting for you. My name is Arachne, and I have information that could change the course of your journey." I narrowed my eyes, unsure of what to make of this newcomer. But as I looked into her eyes, I saw something there, something that gave me hope. A spark of determination, a flame of courage, and in that moment I knew that we were not alone. There were others out there, others who shared our vision of a brighter future, and with their help we might just have a chance to save Aethereia. But as Arachne began to speak, her words dripping with an air of mystery, I realized that our journey was about to take a dramatic turn. The stakes had just been raised, and the fate of Aethereia hung in the balance. "What do you know about the Lyrien Brotherhood?" I asked, my voice firm. Arachne's eyes locked onto mine, and I saw a glimmer of determination there. "I know that they're not what they seem," she said, her voice low and urgent. "I know that they're hiding something big, and I know that you're the only one who can stop them." I nodded, my mind racing with the implications. We had just been handed a new mission, one that would take us to the very limits of our endurance. But I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. With a newfound sense of purpose, I led the charge forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but I was no longer alone. I had found my friends, and I had found my allies. Together, we would face whatever the future held, and we would emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. As we walked away from the ruins, I felt a sense of hope that I had never felt before. We had saved Aethereia, and we had found a new sense of purpose. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. We would face it together as heroes. Previously, I had stood at the threshold of a new journey, armed with the knowledge of the Lyrien Brotherhood's existence and their threat to misuse the ancient technology of the Eldrid ruins. Arachne, a mysterious woman with piercing green eyes, had revealed that she possessed information crucial to our quest, and that the Brotherhood was not what they seemed. With a newfound sense of purpose, I had led my companions forward, ready to face the challenges ahead. As we walked, Arachne fell into step beside me, her long, flowing hair rustling in the gentle breeze. "The Lyrien Brotherhood is a complex organization," she said, her voice low and measured. "They have infiltrated every level of Aethereia's society, and their influence is far more extensive than you can imagine." I narrowed my eyes, my mind racing with the implications. "What do you know about their goals?" I asked, my voice firm. Arachne's eyes locked onto mine, and I saw a glimmer of determination there. "They seek to exploit the ancient technology for their own purposes," she said. "But there's more to it than that. They're searching for a specific artifact, one that could grant them unimaginable power." I felt a surge of adrenaline course through my veins. "What artifact?" I asked, my voice urgent. Arachne hesitated, her eyes darting to Lyrien, Elara, and Zephyr, who were watching us with interest. "The artifact is known as the Echo of Eternity," she said finally. "It's a device capable of manipulating time itself." The air seemed to vibrate with tension as we digested this information. Manipulating time? It was a prospect both exhilarating and terrifying. As we journeyed on, Arachne revealed more about the Kralian Brotherhood's plans and the extent of their infiltration into Aethereia's society. We learned that they had been secretly manipulating events from behind the scenes, using their advanced technology to influence key decisions and shape the course of history. But Arachne's words also sparked a glimmer of hope within me. If we could stop the Kralian Brotherhood, we might be able to prevent a catastrophic future. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Arachne led us to a hidden encampment. A group of skilled engineers, experts in ancient technology, awaited us. "These are the Lyrien," Arachne said, her voice filled with respect. "They've been working to understand the Eldrid ruins for years. With their help, we might just have a chance to stop the Kralian Brotherhood." The Lyrien engineers welcomed us warmly, their faces filled with a mix of excitement and concern. As we sat down to discuss our plan of action, I felt a sense of camaraderie wash over me. We were no longer alone in this fight. The meeting with the Lyrien engineers was a turning point for me. I realized that I had grown, not just as a warrior, but as a leader. I had found my place in the world, and I had discovered a new sense of purpose. With the Lyrien on our side, we began to formulate a daring plan to infiltrate the Kralian Brotherhood stronghold. We would need to use all our skills, all our knowledge, and all our cunning to succeed. As we pored over maps and diagrams, I felt a sense of hope rising within me. We were in this together, as friends, as allies, and as heroes. The night wore on, filled with intense discussion and planning. But as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, I knew that we were ready. We set out, a band of unlikely heroes, united in our quest to stop the Kralian Brotherhood and unlock the secrets of the Eldrid ruins. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but I was no longer afraid. For the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of optimism. We had a chance to change the course of history, to forge a brighter future for Aethereia. As we walked, the landscape unfolding before us like a map, I knew that we would face setbacks and challenges, but I also knew that we would face them together, and that was all that mattered. The wind picked up, carrying the whispers of the ancient world. I felt the weight of responsibility on my shoulders, but I was no longer alone. I had my friends, I had my allies, and I had a newfound sense of purpose. We walked toward the dawn, toward a future filled with uncertainty, but also filled with hope. And as we walked, I knew that we would emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but I was ready. For Aethereia, for my friends, and for the future, I would not falter. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, but I was no longer afraid. I had found my place in the world, and I had found my voice. Together, we would face whatever the future held, and we would emerge victorious. The Kralian Brotherhood would not prevail. We would see to that. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a golden glow over the landscape, I felt a sense of resolve wash over me. We would not be defeated. We would rise to the challenge, and we would triumph. The journey ahead would be epic, but I was ready. I had grown, I had learned, and I had found my place in the world. And as we walked toward the dawn, I knew that we would forge a heroic transformation, one that would redefine my place in the world and inspire a brighter tomorrow in Aethereia. Previously, Arachne had entrusted us with the critical information about the Kralian Brotherhood's quest for the Echo of Eternity, a device capable of manipulating time itself. With the Kyrene engineers on our side, we had begun to formulate a daring plan to infiltrate the Brotherhood's stronghold. As we set out, a sense of hope and determination filled the air, and I knew that we would face the challenges ahead together, as friends, as allies, and as heroes. As we journeyed through the mystical realm of Nefaria, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy. The landscape shifted and morphed like a living, breathing entity. I could feel the weight of the ancient world bearing down upon us, and I knew that we were being drawn closer to the heart of the Eldrid ruins. The Kyrene engineers, led by the brilliant and resourceful Kalen, had been studying the ancient texts and blueprints, searching for any weakness in the Brotherhood's defenses. Their expertise was invaluable, and I was grateful to have them by our side. As we walked, Arachne fell back beside me, her eyes scanning the horizon. "We're getting close," she said, her voice low. "The stronghold lies ahead, hidden behind a series of deadly traps and illusions." I nodded, my mind racing with the challenge ahead. "Well, need to be careful," I said. "The Brotherhood won't hesitate to use force to protect their interests." Arachne's gaze locked onto mine, and I saw a glimmer of determination there. "We'll get past them," she said. "We have to." "The fate of Aethereia depends on it." As we crested a ridge, the stronghold came into view. It was an imposing structure, with towers and spires that seemed to defy gravity. The air around it pulsed with a strange, pulsating energy. "That's the stronghold of Arkea, the enigmatic leader of the Kralian Brotherhood," Arachne said, her voice filled with respect. "She's a master of manipulation and deception. We'll need to be clever if we're going to get past her defenses." I studied the stronghold, my mind racing with possibilities. We would need to use all our skills, all our knowledge, and all our cunning to succeed. As we observed the stronghold, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a young woman with piercing blue eyes and raven black hair. She was dressed in a flowing white robe, and she moved with a quiet confidence that was both captivating and intimidating. "That is Lyra, Arkea's most trusted lieutenant," Arachne said, her voice low. "She's rumored to possess abilities that make her a formidable opponent." I watched as Lyra moved through the stronghold's defenses with ease, her movements fluid and precise. I knew that we would need to be careful, that one misstep could mean disaster. As we observed Lyra's movements, I noticed something strange. She seemed to be following a specific pattern, as if she was searching for something. "Kalen, can you hack into the stronghold systems?" I asked, my mind racing with possibilities. The engineer nodded, a look of concentration on her face. "I'm on it," she said. As Kalen worked her magic, I turned to Arachne. "We need to get inside," I said. "We need to find out what Lyra is searching for." Arachne's eyes locked onto mine, and I saw a glimmer of determination there. "Let's do it," she said. With Kalen's help, we managed to breach the stronghold's defenses, slipping inside unnoticed. We found ourselves in a labyrinthine network of corridors and chambers filled with ancient artifacts and strange devices. As we navigated the stronghold, I began to realize just how complex the Brotherhood's plans were. They had infiltrated every level of Aetheria's society, and their influence was far more extensive than I had ever imagined. But I also began to see a glimmer of hope. If we could stop the Brotherhood, we might be able to prevent a catastrophic future. As we journeyed deeper into the stronghold, we encountered a series of challenges and obstacles. We fought off deadly traps and solved complex puzzles, using all our skills and knowledge to overcome them. But with each step, I felt a sense of growth and determination rising within me. I was no longer the same person I had been just a few days ago. I had found my place in the world, and I had discovered a new sense of purpose. As we approached the heart of the stronghold, I could feel the energy of the echo of eternity pulsing through the air. It was a strange, tingling sensation, like the whisper of the ancient world. And then, suddenly, we were face to face with Lyra. She was even more beautiful and intimidating up close, her eyes flashing with a fierce inner light. "Welcome, Alex," she said, her voice husky and seductive. "I've been expecting you." I smiled, a sense of confidence rising within me. "We're here for the echo of eternity," I said, "and we're not leaving without it." Lyra's eyes narrowed, her gaze piercing. "You're brave," she said, "but you're also foolish. The echo is not something to be taken lightly. It's a device of immense power, and it will not be used for the faint of heart." I took a step forward, my heart pounding in my chest. "We're not here to play games," I said. "We're here to stop the Brotherhood and to prevent a catastrophic future." Lyra's expression changed, her eyes flashing with a glimmer of surprise. "You don't understand," she said. "The Brotherhood is not what you think it is. They're not the villains you're making them out to be." I raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" I asked. Lyra hesitated, her eyes darting to Arachne, who was watching us with interest. "The Brotherhood is trying to prevent a disaster," she said. "A disaster that will destroy Aethereia and everyone in it." I felt a surge of confusion and uncertainty. What was Lyra talking about? Was the Brotherhood really trying to prevent a disaster, or was this just a clever ruse? As I looked into Lyra's eyes, I saw a glimmer of sincerity there. She believed what she was saying, and I began to wonder if we had misjudged the Brotherhood all along. But I also knew that we couldn't trust Lyra completely. We needed to be careful, and we needed to stay focused on our goal. "We'll hear you out," I said, "but we're not leaving without the echo of eternity." "It's too important." Lyra's expression changed, her eyes flashing with a fierce inner light. "Then let's see if you're worthy of it," she said. And with that, the challenge was issued. We would need to prove ourselves worthy of the echo of eternity, and we would need to do it quickly. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I knew that we couldn't afford to fail.